Hello. I'm here to read you Clark the Shark. Clark the Shark dares to share. Let's see what this is all about. I have a little friend with me, but I'm going to hope that he stays nice and cuddly and quiet. Okay, here we go. See if I can do this with one hand. You want to see the picture? This is Clark the Shark at school. There's Mrs. Inky Dink, his teacher. She's an octopus. She's writing math problems and pictures on the board. And they're learning their letters. And it says show and share. And then on the other side of the room, you can see Clark and some of his other sea friends. Okay? And they're in school. Clark the Shark loved school. He loved his teacher. And he loved learning. But sometimes Clark got a little mixed up. One marvelous morning, Mrs. Inky Dink told Clark's class, "Time for show and share." Yeah, and so here, that's the page I showed you already. Whoopsie, I'm going to turn the page with one hand since I got my hands full today. Okay, on the next page it says Benny Blowfish went first. He played a song so sweet and sassy that Clark couldn't help but dance his funky shark dance with a hip and a hop and a diddly widdly wop. Did I say it right? A skiddly widdly wop. Sorry, I'm sure that makes a little bit of a difference. There he is. Look at him dancing away while Benny Blowfish blows his trumpet. And all the other fish and friends are kind of like, Let's see, what does his teacher say? "Sit down, please," said Mrs. Inky Dink. "But I was sharing too," said Clark. "Sharing is caring," said Mrs. Inky Dink, "and everyone must learn to wait their turn." "I get it," said Clark, but he really didn't get it. At Reading Roundup, let's fix this little friend here. At Reading Roundup, Amanda Eelwiggle won a scrumptious prize for reading the most books. "Sea slug ice cream," asked Clark. Yum, yum, I want some." "That's up to Amanda," said Mrs. Inky Dink. "But sharing is caring," cried Clark. Mrs. Inky Dink nodded. "Yes, I'm aware, but the giver chooses when to share." "Sharing is confusing," said Clark. Okay, here we go. Here she's got her sea slug ice cream, and she's like, ooh, because he looks like he's going to take some of it, and he's so excited. And then Mrs. Inky Dink says, you have to ask the person with the thing you want whether you have permission to share with them or them with you. In reef hockey, Clark chose to share his spectacular skills. "Hockey is awesome," he roared. Clark front faked and back faked, and his stick checked and decked. And he's having a lot of fun, but look at all the players. All his sea creature friends are trying to use their hockey sticks, and they look kind of like, huh? They're kind of surprised because Clark the Shark looks really involved and happy, but all the other players don't get a turn. He's kind of hogging the hockey puck. That's the little round thing you push around. In the end, Clark did everything but pass the puck to somebody else. His teammates were cranky. "Hey, hotshot, let someone else score, why don't you?" said his best friend, Joey Mackerel. "But we all shared the win," said Clark. And here's a picture of them all talking to him. He's like, "We all shared the win. We all won." And he's like, "But they didn't even have a turn to play, did they?" Because he kind of hogged it. And you see near the bottom of this page, there's a crab with a shirt on that says C. He's the coach. And his name is Coach Krabby because he's a crab. He scowled and said, "A win's not okay unless we all get to play." "Sharing is complicated," said Clark. He's having problems, doesn't he? Well, after school, Clark and Joey Mackerel played Sea Wars at Joey's house. Wow, is that dark waiter? Asked Clark. Best birthday present ever, said Joey. Do you want to play with Fluke Seawalker? Clark really wanted Dark Waiter, but Joey asked him to wait his turn. See, he didn't want to share yet. There they are now. Those are like Star Wars, but they're calling them Sea Wars. So there's the black one is Darth Vader, and the brown one's dressed like a, like from Star Wars, is Fluke Seawalker instead of Luke Skywalker. So anyway, he's like, sure, but you got to wait your turn to play with the dark one, the Darth Vader. So here you can see Joey's leaving the room. He's going to go get a snack, and Clark is thinking, maybe I can try now. And this is what happens. When Joey went to get them a snack, Clark couldn't resist. Must be my turn, he said. And it was, after all, the coolest toy ever. Yeah, Sea Wars rocks, cried Clark. And he went pow, bam, crunch. Oops. So he was having so much fun. Look at banging them together with his little shark fins. Oops. And there he has the problem. Crunch. And he's like in the bottom picture. Oops. It looks like Darth Vader's head popped off. Oh, then his friend Joey came back and said, Clark, cried Joey, you broke it. Sorry, said Clark. I was sharing. Joey shook his head. That's not sharing, he said. That's taking and breaking. Clark the shark swam home befuddled and bewildered. He did not understand sharing at all. So here's when Joey's getting upset with poor Clark. But he did, accidentally. He didn't mean to, but he did do it. And here he's swimming home like, I don't get this sharing stuff. I'm going to go home to my house, talk to my mommy. So he did. And when he arrived, Clark found he wasn't the only one who didn't get the sharing stuff. Mom, cried Clark, my cap, he borrowed it, he bit it, and now it's ruined. Clark has a little brother. And look what his little brother, whoops, sorry, wrong side, here we go, is chewing on Clark's cap, because Clark likes to wear caps. And he's saying it's ruined, and he's telling his mommy while she's working on some plants. And he's pretty upset about it. So what do you think she's going to say? Teething or no teething, Clark's mother said, that's no way to treat a cap. She told his brother to ask before borrowing. But she also talked to Clark and said, you have heaps of caps, and if you have a lot, why not share a lot? That gave him something to think about, right? So she talked to both of them. She told the little brother, don't chew on things that aren't yours. You need to talk to them first, the person that owns it, and you have to take care of the things that you have. And then she told Clark, you have a lot. Why don't you share? Well, Clark didn't want to hear it. He swam to his room and sulked up a storm. So here she is talking to her two children, Clark and his little brother. And here is Clark sulking. That means he's being sad and feeling sorry for himself in his bedroom. And and do you notice all the caps in this picture? Sorry to bump you. There we go. See, there's caps on the bed. There's caps next to him. There's caps everywhere. On the floor. He has a lot of caps, so he could share, couldn't he? Sharing is caring, Clark grumbled. It's not taking and breaking. But this only reminded him of what he'd done at Joey's house. Clark's head hurt, as if a big shark he thought was trying to break free. So sharing is, he's thinking back of all the lessons. He says, it's waiting your turn. It's letting everyone play. It's the giver chooses when. It's not taking and breaking. And it's giving what you've got a lot of. Sharing was confusing, but, thought Clark, it also might be worth getting it just right. So here he is thinking that all over and deciding, I think I'll try it out. I think it's worth getting it just right. So, Mom, he asked, will you help me bake something? And here's a picture of him coming out to his mommy, and she's getting dinner ready, it looks like. And he says, will you help me bake something? And look at what he's doing. He's giving his little brother one of his hats. Isn't that nice? And he still has one on his head, and he has plenty more in his room, doesn't he? Okay, so his mommy is going to help him, and he makes something special. Let's see. The next day, Clark gave Joey a hand-baked krill cake. Krill is a kind of yummy thing that a lot of sea creatures like to eat. So he gave Joey a home-baked krill cake and a great big Sharky apology. I think I'll share this with the whole class, said Joey. Really, said Clark. Really, said Joey. And but first, let's look at that picture when he brings this delicious cake, and it says, dare to share, and they're looking at it together. And then when Amanda Eelwiggle saw all the cake being cut up, she said, you know what goes well with krill cake? No, what? Said Clark. Sea slug ice cream. Ooh, and just like that, she scooped her treat onto everyone's plate. Here she is. They got green ice cream, and then in the next picture, there she is, the green Eelwiggle girl. And then in the next picture, you can see them all enjoying cake and ice cream. Clark the shark looked around at all his classmates enjoying cake and ice cream, and he got a warm, wiggly feeling way down deep inside. What is it, Clark? Asked Mrs. Inky Dink. Okay, there he is smiling. Look at all his friends gobbling up the yummy treats. They are pretty looking. The ingredients don't sound too interesting to humans, but they look tasty in the picture, don't they? So Mrs. Inky Dink says, what is it, Clark? Because he's got that warm feeling inside of him with a ginormous grin. And sharks can give big grins, can't they? Clark broke into the funkiest, sharkiest, funky shark dance ever. And this time, all his classmates joined him with a hip and a hop and a skiddly widdly wop. And there they are dancing away. The slugblowfish is playing his trumpet. And there's Clark dancing away with his friend Joey Mackerel and other sea friends. And that is almost the end. The last page says, sharing is sweet, cried Clark the shark. I think he finally understood what that was all about. And he's so happy, and all his friends are too, because they were all learning that sharing is pretty special. It's sometimes hard to learn, but it's a good thing to learn. And I forgot to mention that it's written by Bruce Hale. I hope you enjoyed it. See you later.